and welcome to Unity of Wilmington's hybrid service. My name is Myron McNeil, and we want to give a warm welcome to those of you that are online watching this morning, as well as those of you that are seated here today. I want to remind you of three important truths we celebrate here. One is, you are a beloved expression of God. The divine is working through you as love every day. And two, you are here for a holy purpose, and that purpose is love. And three, you're in the right place at the right time, right now. Thank you.
Once again, it is fresh and it is fruitful if I win, but if I lose, oh, I don't know. I'll be tired, but I will turn and I will go. Only guessing till I get there, then I'll know. Oh, I will know. All the children walking home past the factories can see the light that's shining in my window as I write this song to you. All the cars running fast along the interstate feel the love that radiates, illuminating what I know is true. All will be well, even after all the promises you've broken to yourself. All will be well. You can ask me how, but only time will tell. Winter's cold, but the snow still slightly settles on the trees. And a mess is still a moment I can seize until I know all will be well. Even though sometimes this is hard to tell, and the fight is just as frustrating as well. All will be well. All the children walking home past the factories see the light that's shining in my window as I write this song to you. And all the cars running fast along the interstate can feel the love that radiates, illuminating what I know is true. All will be well, even after all the promises you've broken to yourself. All will be well. You can ask me how, but only time will tell. Gotta keep it up and don't give up, and chase your dreams and you will find all in time. All the children walking home past the factories can see the light that's shining in my window as I write this song to you. All the cars running fast along the interstate feel the love that radiates, illuminating what I know is true. All will be well, even after all the promises you've broken to yourself. All will be well. You can ask me how, but only time will tell. You can ask me how, but only time will tell.
Deese. We have Jay Killman. He's with us on guitar today. He's been here before, but welcome back. And of course, our very wonderful John Hill. And you, for whenever you are here watching us, thank you. We're talking about prayer today. Wednesday and Thursday, but particularly Thursday, is Unity, the worldwide movement's World Day of Prayer. And this year is the 28th annual World Day of Prayer. It's a very special time in the Unity movement because Unity was built on a foundation of prayer. Myrtle Fillmore, one of the co-founders of Unity, she and her husband Charles prayed every single night. First it was at 10 o'clock, but they were in farmland, and eventually it went to 9. And what they did was they encouraged all of their neighbors around to hold a thought for a period of time. They held it for about an hour. A thought like abundance, a thought like harmony, a thought like joy. But they held that thought in their heart and in their mind, and they watched what occurred from that prayer, for that is a form of prayer. And then eventually people started coming to Myrtle Fillmore and writing her letters from all over. And that was the very beginnings of Silent Unity as we know it today. A place that's been more than 125 years praying with people for whatever their concerns are. And Silent Unity has branched out with the world, so now you can email Silent Unity, you can call Silent Unity, you can text Silent Unity, and you can use an app for Silent Unity. So we're in a movement that is expanding. We're expanding our consciousness, we're transforming, and we are moving with the world, which is what Charles Fillmore would have delighted in, because he loved innovation and he loved newness. So let's talk about prayer and innovation in prayer. How many of you, and if you're home, go ahead and raise your hand. How many of you grew up with prayer that was asking, supplication, pleading kinds of prayer? That's what I grew up with too. So we want to look at prayer in a whole different manner today, in a way that Unity looks at prayer. When I was growing up, prayer was very much a part of my life. My grandmother, one of them, was a Sunday school teacher. She was my Sunday school teacher for a number of years. And she prayed daily and she read the Bible daily. So if I was ever with her, which was as much as I could be, she and I would pray together, and she would read the Bible to me until I got old enough, and she would say, okay, now your turn to read to me. So I learned how to read, in part, reading the Bible. But my grandmother still prayed from that place of asking. And there's nothing wrong with that place of please God. Dear God, would you please? There's nothing wrong with that prayer. That's part of our embedded theology. The way Unity teaches prayer is that God is not a person. God is personable, but God is not a person. That God is principle, immutable, unchangeable, and everywhere present. Eric Butterworth used to say there is no spot where God is not, but I would say God is in every spot there is. And so as we pray from a consciousness of God in unity. We pray from a firm foundation of truth. And you may be saying, well, I don't know how to do that. Let's play a moment. Let's talk about prosperity. What is an affirmation about prosperity? I am abundant. Yes, and at home or wherever you are watching this, go ahead and put that in the comments, and I'll come back to that. Okay, I'm abundant. What's another one?
All my needs are abundantly met.
All my needs are abundantly met. I am abundant. All my needs are abundantly met. One more. God is my source. Okay, we have a prayer. We may not recognize it as a prayer, but we have a prayer. God is my source. I am abundant. All of my needs are abundantly met. I want you to try this on a moment. Oh God, I need some financial assistance. Go ahead and say that. Dear God, I need some financially assistance. And just tune in and notice what that feels like. Just notice. And this is not disrespectful. I'm just wanting you to feel the difference. And now say, God is my resource. Go ahead and say it fully. God is my resource. I am abundant. All of my needs are abundantly met. Now tune in. What does it feel? Is there a difference? Can you feel a difference in the style? And neither style is wrong. Unity embraces the affirmative style, and that's what we were doing. Could you feel a difference? Anybody willing to share what that is? And I'll echo it back. And if you're wherever you are online, write it in the comments. What difference did you feel if you felt a difference? More positive? Openness? Lightness. Yeah. So there may be times you find yourself praying in a variety of different ways. We pray affirmatively, not to make something true, rather to affirm for ourselves. Another way to say that is to condition our consciousness into the truth. The truth is there. We live in an abundant universe. But prayer assists us in conditioning our consciousness to be in alignment with the cosmos, to be in alignment with the principle. In God, there is no lack. God is abundance. And so we are bringing our own awareness of our oneness with God in prayer into abundance. And you can do this with health. You can do this with relationships. Whatever you might be struggling with in life, whatever you might be challenged by in life, you can do this. And whatever you are celebrating in life, if you bring your consciousness to that celebration, you will expand it. Charles Fillmore said, what we praise, we raise the vibration of. What we praise, what we bring into Thanksgiving, we raise the vibration of it. And when we are raising the vibration of ourselves, then we are going to draw to us something different. Have you ever been in the experience of being really upset with somebody, so you're mad? And it seems like as you move through your day, you're carrying the vibration of anger. And as you're moving through your day, you find yourself drawing to you or encountering other people who are also angry. And you go, wow, what's going on? But most often, if we'll turn within, we can find that place within us that's angry. And when we can simply love it. Wow, today I feel angry. Today I feel sad. Today I feel scared. And we can love that place. We can bring our generous, loving attention because God is love. God is principle, immutable, unchangeable. God is love. The Bible teaches that. And we can bring that love to the experience that we are having. And we can harmonize that experience. So prayer does three very basic things. But before we go to there, I want to ask you, this is the affirmation for World Day of Prayer. No matter the circumstances, all is well with my soul. No matter the circumstances, all is well with my soul. How many of you can affirm that? Yeah, all is well with our soul. Now, you don't have to raise your hand on this, but how many of you are living that every single day as if all is well? And I'm not asking you to judge yourself. I'm asking you to make a notice, to make an observation about yourself. And where is the disconnect? Where's the disconnect? If I can say I believe it, that under all circumstances in life, no matter what the circumstance is, all is well with my soul. The question, as a spiritual being having a human experience, the question is of being fully divine and fully human and finding how we interweave those together becomes, where are the obstacles for me to not be living that affirmation of truth? For it is an affirmation of truth. Let's take a look at that. I want to bring up 3 basic points of prayer, and there are many more, but I don't want to be here all day with you. You guys might, but I want to really kind of hone this down. Prayer assists us in awakening our awareness of our divine nature. This is what we do in prayer. As we rest in prayer, as we center ourselves in prayer, we are awakening our awareness. We're divine whether we're aware of that divinity or not. We are divine. We cannot be separated from God. We are always in oneness with God. It is our awareness that changes. Prayer assists us in recognizing divine ideas. They're all around us. The next right idea is within us already. So if there's something that we're challenged by, if there's something that we're struggling with, if there's something that we want to pull forth in potential, the ideas are already within us. But we must raise our frequency through prayer to be able to be in the same wavelength as those ideas so that we can bring them forth and manifest them. We only demonstrate things at the level of our own consciousness. Eric Butterworth would say it this way: God can only do for us what we allow to move through us. The energy, that we are the faucet that turns on and off. We're the one turning the faucet on and off of the flow of life. And prayer assists us in understanding and embracing truth. So prayer begins to assist us in recognizing and experiencing our divine nature. It's not enough to just say we're divine, but what we want to do is spend time in prayer, to spend time in meditation, to spend time so that we really fully experience our oneness with God, experience our divinity, experience the power that's already within us so that we can be open, so we can feel the lightness that's around us. Eric Butterworth, in his book, The Universe is Calling, tells a story of a young man. He and his scouting troop are out, they're foraging, they're working on a badge, and they're out in the woods. And they're having a good time, and this one little boy kind of wanders off a little bit, and he gets separated from the rest of his troop. And they're looking for him, and he knows he's a good scout. He knows to look at the signs, and then he sits down. And they're looking, and it gets later, and it gets later. And so the scout leader makes the decision to call the police as dusk is falling. And the police come, and they look, and they call in the community. And then the next morning, a group of people walk up, and there is this young scout, and he's got a piece of wood that he found, and he's got his pocket knife, and he's whittling. And he's very calm, and everybody else is a little bit chaotic around him. Oh my gosh, what happened? What happened? And he says, why are you guys so upset? And he said, they were like, weren't you afraid? You know what happens when we get adrenalized. Weren't you afraid? Weren't you scared? And the young man said, no, I wasn't. And somebody asked him, well, why weren't you afraid? And he says, I knew God was here with me. And then the next question, how did you know that God was here with you? And the young man looked up and he said, I'm here. I am here. So I knew God was here. And I knew God was here, so I did not need to be afraid. I knew you would come. I knew you would come. So he put that prayer into action. He knew, he understood fully his divine nature and his oneness with God, and he put it into action. And he was able, in the midst of what for me would be very scary circumstances, he put it into action for himself. He stayed calm, he stayed centered, he got creative. In difficult circumstances, one of the best ways to move emotion is to get creative. Think about all the beautiful art we have from people who have struggled with their emotions And that what they've done is they've channeled that energy, because emotions are simply an energy that's seeking to be in motion. They've channeled that energy, and beauty has come forth from it. When we sit in prayer, we can find the divine ideas. The Bible teaches that before we were born, before we were even born, that God knew us. Principle knew us. The cosmos knew us. How could that be? Because we are energy. Because we are energy. We are a part of all that is. Joseph Campbell used to say we were made from stardust. And so before God knew us, before we were born, God knew us. And therefore all that we needed was already within us. Just as it is today. Just as it is today. The difference is we think we know more than the ancient Israelites. I don't know exactly all that they knew. But we believe with our technology, with our science, and other things that we know more. But what we forget at times is that very beingness, our awareness of our oneness with God. And that in that oneness with God, we have everything we need to solve anything that comes our way. But we're the ones who put feet onto it. Or actually, we're the ones who, in however way you pray, I say put feet on it, but some people sit in prayer. Some people move and pray, walking meditations. Some people do meditations where they eat and pray. However works for you, to come into your awareness of that oneness. When we are in that awareness, then the capacities of God are flowing as us. We're it. We are the place where God shows up. And so the ideas come. But when we're not in that place where we understand, it's more difficult. So I want to share another story with you. Another story about the woods. A woman was out, she was visiting some friends, and she was on their property, which had many, many acres, and she's out and she's enjoying her time walking around and reveling in the beauty, enjoying nature. And she recognizes as it begins to get dark that she really doesn't know where she is. So she's walking around, she's looking around, and she does not know where she is, and so she's looking for the markers of some place that she might have been, and she gets very upset, and she gets very frustrated, and she sits down, and in frustration she prays, "Dear God, help me know how to get out of here. Send someone to assist me. Come and rescue me, God." And so time goes on, and a few days later, she's at a game that she's playing, and she's sharing with somebody, "Oh, God does not answer prayer." And the woman says, "Why are you saying that?" "Well, prayer just doesn't work." Second question, "Why are you saying that?" And the woman says, "I was lost in the woods, and I prayed for God to rescue me, and God did not come." And the woman she's talking to says, "Well, something must have happened, because you're sitting here with me now." And the woman said, "Well, this hunter came along, and he helped me get out of the woods." The divine idea of a hunter. The divine idea. How often does somebody come along to share some information with us, to lead us forward in our lives, and we're not able to recognize it as a divine idea? An event happens. Maybe we get some divine discontent going in. It's time to do something different than we're doing. But we hang on. We're waiting for a sign, but the signs are all around us. Florence Scovel Shinn, who is a New Thought writer, talks about sitting. Sit and wait for the idea to come. And then after you wait for the idea to come and the idea comes, sit and wait for the flash of inspiration about what to do. This is a form of prayer. Unity has many forms of prayer. Denials and affirmations are a form of prayer. H. Emily Cady, in her book Lessons in Truth, taught denials and affirmations, that we would deny that something has power over us. So it's not the same as psychological denying, which says, "Oh, I don't really see that." But we see it clearly. The circumstance of no matter what the circumstance, all is well in our world. We can see the circumstance and deny, and I like to step forward when I do it, deny that the circumstance has any power over us, and stand in the truth of who and what we are, created in the image and likeness of God, known before we were ever born, demonstrating at the level of our consciousness. So prayer, according to Charles Fillmore, is the highest mind action. And we hear it. I speak about it regularly. Thoughts and feelings held in mind produce thoughts and feelings that are similar. So if I'm having a thought of lack, then I'm going to have a feeling of not enough. And when I have the thought of lack and the feeling of not enough, what am I going to produce? Not enough. I'm going to produce not enough until I begin to shift the thought and change the feeling. And this is the beauty of prayer assists us in understanding and embracing truth, understanding and embracing spiritual principle, understanding that our thoughts, coupled with our feelings, create the way we view the world. Create the way we view the world. And so if there's something that we want to demonstrate, there's something that we want to manifest, if there's something we want to open up to, what thought do we want to hold with the feeling that I call heart-centered? Love, joy, peace, harmony. A heart-centered thought. And then that thought, like the prayer that we just prayed, God is our source. I am abundant. All my needs are abundantly come forth to me. I don't remember the last one exactly, but all my needs are abundantly present for me. When we hold that with gratitude, with thanksgiving, then that is what is going to come forth. So the first step in all things is to recognize what is, to deny what is if we don't want it to be happening. To deny what is has no power over us. To, as the young scout did, recognize that wherever we are, God is, and we are. God is, and we are. And thus we have that capacity to call forth the next right step, and the next right step, and the next right step. But we must make a shift so that we're doing it from the consciousness of God, from the consciousness of affirming the truth, from embracing the truth. For we can only demonstrate at our own level of truth. And when I say embracing the truth, I'm talking about what I call the capital T truth, the absolute truth, that God is abundant, that we live in abundant universe, that we live in a joyful universe, that we live in a universe where all our needs are met. We just have to do the work to get our needs to be met. Charles Fillmore says it this way: we can have the fullness of life by realizing that we live in a sea of abundant, omnipresent, eternal life, and by refusing to allow any thought to come in that stops the consciousness of the universal flow of life. This is our job. Step one, recognize, and then come to the realization. Recognizing is the idea, but realizing is beginning to live the idea. And as we begin to live the idea, to begin to notice, to be aware of our thoughts. We cannot talk about I am abundant and then turn around and talk to our friends about how we're in lack. I don't have enough. I'm afraid to pay a bill. I'm afraid to buy this thing that my heart longs for because I'm afraid that I won't have enough. But I am abundant. See, we create the disconnect, and we don't even know that we create it most often. But we create it. We cannot talk about being in radiant and perfect health and then talk about how, I got up this morning and my back was a little stiff. Let me tell you, I'm getting old. Let me tell you about all the things that happen to you when you get old. We're in a disconnect. when we stay in prayer, particularly affirmative prayer, I am radiant health. I am radiant health. And so when the thought comes, oh, maybe I'm getting old, I can think, in God there is no age. In God there is only vitality. And if that's true of God, it's true of me. I am vital. I am alive. I am well. So we have to begin to catch the thoughts. If I want to feel confident, I can't walk around talking about my insecurity. I have to remember things in my life that I did well. And I'm saying but this is for all of us. It's for all of us. We have to remember who we are. Remember that it is all already within us. That is the power within that has been with us since the beginning of time, since the beginning of creation, since we are creators. We are creators. And so catching the thoughts, and if you need to write them down and then make the shift. So you do something like a turnaround. I'm not good enough. I am good enough. People don't like me. People love me. If I be myself, if I be authentic, people won't like me. The more authentic I am, the more people open their hearts to me. So playing with this, and if you need a buddy, find a buddy that's there to play with you, that's open to suggestion, that's willing to say to you, hey, you're talking about abundance, but you're over here talking about how you don't have enough. You're affirming abundance, you're affirming health, but you're talking over here about how you're not healthy today. And that's not to say we jump over. We notice and we go into prayer. We notice, oh, I'm feeling sad. I wonder what I'm longing for. Maybe I'm longing for something other than what I think I have, and I'm longing for that connection, that awareness. I like to think about it as connection, but I'm the one who disconnects. So it's time for me, when I'm in that state of longing, to plug back in. And I do that through prayer and meditation. My invitation to each of you today is to, even if it's 3 to 5 minutes, begin a daily routine of prayer. We are fully human, but we are also fully divine. So what we want to do is to be able to support all of the parts of ourselves, and prayer is one of the ways, a practice in unity that we do. It's one of the tools in our spiritual toolkit. Practicing. Because God has done all that God can do as principle. Now it's up to us to step in, to take action, to sit in prayer, to listen deeply. And if it's not seeming to unfold, to find a friend who's going to support and encourage you, and sit together, and to be willing to sit until you feel the shift into that divine oneness. To feel the shift, and to feel the shift with gratitude and thanksgiving. H.M. Nickie says, there is something about the mental act of thanksgiving that seems to carry the human mind far beyond the region of doubt into the clear atmosphere of faith and trust, where all things are possible. The Bible teaches, with God, all things are possible. Emily Cady says, when we're in thanksgiving, we move beyond doubt and fear. Charles Fillmore says, when we're in thanksgiving, we raise our energy. Prayer is not to change anything outside of us. Prayer is to make the change within us, within our own heart and our own mind. Prayer is not to change another person. It's to change how we see that other person, to learn to see through spiritual eyes. Prayer is the knowing the next right step, for it will come. And then we can truly live this affirmation no matter what the circumstances, all is well with my soul. So when we face a time like we've had for the last couple of years, we can stand in the consciousness of knowing that in oneness we are never separated from each other. We might be physically separated, and we're still practicing some level of physical distancing to keep ourselves safe. But we're never separated in our heart unless we throw up the boulder, the barrier, the obstacle. And the moment we throw it up is the same moment that if we choose, we can take it down. And the best way is through the highest mind action known on this planet, prayer. We can sit in meditation until we find that place of centeredness within us. So I'm going to invite you to bring forth a challenge that's happening in your life, or maybe somewhere in a community that you move in. What is a challenge? And just hold it in your heart, not to start your mind running around and ruminating, but just to hold it. We know that truth is the expression of light, and that light is the expression of truth. So take that challenge for a moment. Take that challenge and wrap it in light. And affirm, no matter the circumstances, no matter what's going on, all is well in my soul. Because the soul is the sum total in unity of our subconscious and our conscious mind. The soul begins to express the body. So we bring our subconscious thoughts into conscious awareness, and then we can look at them, we can reflect on them and say, is this what I want to be thinking? And this is part of how we do what Charles Fillmore says, is catch the thought that we don't want creating our life. Look at it, love it, and let it go. Say no to that thought. Say no to the person who is coming forth and not seeing your radical goodness. Say no, thank you. I'm choosing over and over again to spend my time with people who see my radical goodness, who make my heart sing, who call me forth to be the absolute best I can be, who see my divine nature, who are willing to let go of judgment, who are willing to let go of criticism, who are willing to live in a consciousness of intelligent love, bringing forth wisdom and understanding. And then our life, our very essence, our very being is a prayer. And so as we move through our life, we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Our actions are prayers. As we move through our life, we can come to a point of celebration of life. We can come to a point of celebrating each other in life. And as we do that, as you come back to this time, this place, this room, see if you come back and make a conscious choice to come back in an awareness of not only your oneness with God, but your awareness of your oneness with each other, with each person who is sitting in this room. And look around. And if you can, and if you're willing, make some eye contact with that individual. And look into the window of the soul of that person and know the very blessing of that human and divine contact. And look beyond any instances you may have had with somebody that were difficult for you. That's the circumstance I deny that has any power over me. You can't do it for the other person, but you can do it for you. And and see the love that is radiating forth from each of you. And as you pray, as you awaken to your oneness, as you awaken and raise your consciousness to that place you see the divine ideas, be confident and grateful in stepping forth in the truth of who and what you are, both fully human and fully divine.
Time is tight and money's short. Rivers up and the weatherman, he's calling for another storm. Pressure's on, the margin's thin. Gotta figure out a fix for this awful fix I'm in. Oh mama, what am I gonna do? She said, child, there's only one thing you can do. Let it go, see what tomorrow brings. Don't worry about nothing, pray about everything. Pray about everything. Love is blind, fate don't care. Lose your grip and your balloons go sailing off into the air. Oh mama, what am I gonna do? She said, child, there's only one thing you can do. Don't worry about nothing. Let it go, see what tomorrow brings. Don't worry about nothing, pray about everything. Pray about everything. Take a walk, take a breath, oh, give it all a rest. Take a cane pole to the fishing pole and catch a couple of fish. Just like that, toss them back, make a little wish.
If you've been touched, moved, or inspired today by Reverend Gold's message like I have, we invite you to put that into action. We appreciate your generosity. You can give on our Facebook, unityofwilmington.com. You can use Vino or Facebook or just write a check.
And whatever you do, whatever you choose, know that it is absolutely perfect for you, that we all live in an abundant universe. And come into prayer together. Come into prayer together so we can know beyond a shadow of a doubt of our divinity and our humanity, and that we can live lives that are full of joy. So we don't have to worry about anything. And we can truly know that no matter what the circumstance, all is well in our soul.
Don't worry about nothing. Let it go, see what tomorrow brings. Don't worry about it, stress about it, fret about it. Don't worry about nothing. Let it go, see what tomorrow brings. Don't worry about nothing. Pray about everything.